Here we are with another action-packed edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. This is the Wednesday evening edition, December 16th, 9 days to Christmas. And we've got an interesting weather scenario about to unfold over the next several days. We're not going to see any sort of big snowstorms before Christmas, but we are going to see some real dips and bumps in our temperatures as we head through the next 7 or 8 days. So we'll talk about all of that coming up over the next, hopefully, less than 10 minutes. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's get to it. First off, cool time-lapse from today from our camera down in Columbiana at the traffic circle. Clouds at the start. Sunshine broke through midday. Beautiful afternoon. We had some high clouds trying to come in the afternoon, but it made for a nice sunset. Overall, today was a winner, despite kind of a somewhat murky start to the day. And, of course, temperatures were above average this afternoon. We got up to 51 officially at the airport, although I wouldn't be surprised if we actually set our high temperature for the day sometime this evening, as temperatures may actually continue to rise. At 7:19 p.m., 7:18 p.m., it was still 50 at the airport, 53 Pittsburgh, 54 in Cleveland, and still pushing 60 down in Columbus. The colder air is waiting in the wings off to the west. It's in the teens and 20s out across the Rockies and Plains this evening, and this is what's going to head our way as we head into tomorrow night and into Friday and the upcoming weekend as well. First things first, along the leading edge, or ahead of the leading edge of the cold air, some rain to contend with. Now, the radar this evening showing specks here and there. This is just Virga. There is some legitimate precipitation west of Cleveland, heading down I-71 and into southern Ohio as well. This is the radar as of 7:18 p.m. Most of you will be watching this well afterwards. Actually interesting, a little bit of lightning up in Lake Huron this evening to the north of the Detroit area. All right, high-resolution futurecast. This is the high-resolution rapid refresh model, or HRR, H-R-R-R, showing us the future radar. Notice, as we go through the next few hours, these echoes are going to be kind of sparse, but I think the radar is going to fill in as we go through the overnight. So rain starts to push in 2, 3 a.m., and as we go through the night, then some steady rain pushes in from the south, and the radar does sort of really fill in by about daybreak tomorrow. So tomorrow, off to a wet start. It's kind of interesting here tomorrow morning. The back edge is even in our viewing area already by mid-morning. So the farther north you are, the faster, farther north and west, I should say, you are, I think the faster this rain's going to get out of here during the mid-morning tomorrow. The farther south and east you are, the longer the rain is going to last. So, but I think everyone is pretty much wet at the start of the day on our Thursday. Here's a look at the rest of tomorrow on the RPM model. I'll kick things off with about daybreak. Still going to be warm, upper 40s, lower 50s to kick off the day tomorrow with the rain. But it's going to be one of those backwards days. As the rain departs and tapers off, notice temperatures already trailing back by mid-morning. And while they might kind of hover for a time, pardon me, in the upper 40s to around 50, I think towards the end of the afternoon we're going to start noticing those readings dipping. And by sunset, some of us may already be in the 30s. Notice the RPM model here has the rain pretty much out of our viewing area by noon, maybe 1 o'clock. It still might be a little fast in the eastern part of our viewing area, but I think it's on the money in the west. And again, farther north and west away from Youngstown you are, faster the rain ends and the more sunshine you can see tomorrow. It's ineffective sun, though, with those falling afternoon temperatures. By this time tomorrow evening, already down into the mid-30s. As far as rainfall totals out of this, we have a pretty big spread in the modeling here, anywhere from about 0.2 of an inch on the RPM to roughly 0.6 on the NAM model. I think a good happy medium is going to be about 0.3, maybe 1/3 of an inch worth of rain coming our way later on tonight and heading into the first half of the day tomorrow. All right, rest of the forecast. Here's our cold front pushing through, and the rain pushes away again in the early mid-afternoon tomorrow. Try to get some sunshine working in. I think Friday is a pretty cloudy day. Here's a Friday morning. Clouds definitely dominating at this point. Might there be a flurry trying to come out of those clouds in the afternoon? Sure, no big deal. Can be some peaks of sun here and there. It's going to take until Friday night and into Saturday for the lake effect machine to really start cranking up. And once it does so, some pretty healthy bands of lake effect snow shown here on the modeling. Again, this is the RPM model. Some of the other models have some somewhat different ideas, but I think there will be some lake effect bands that impact southwest New York, northwest PA, and especially the far, far eastern suburbs of Cleveland and over into Ashtabula County. As far as any accumulations go, that's where we're going to be looking. Ashtabula County on east. I think for our viewing area, this is a non-event as far as accumulations go, just some mood snow, if you will. But it could be enough to shovel, certainly, as you get up into Ashtabula County and over into Crawford County, PA, Erie County, into southwest New York. And, in the traditional heart of the snow belt in through here, you could probably double these totals locally. Someone in here could get 6 to 12 inches, whereas the NAM model here is showing kind of a 3 to 6 area. You could probably double that in some spots. Again, that's mostly Friday night into Saturday. Then things turn around. By Sunday, we are back into a southwest flow. And after a cold start, temperatures will warm to the lower 40s, above average, for Sunday afternoon, with a decent amount of sunshine, with some fair weather clouds. All right, this next front is kind of a non-event as far as any air mass change. It's going to wash out, but it will be enough to produce some showers on Monday. There'll be some showers here and there Monday. And then the models start diverging on the kind of the salient details of things as we go into midweek. No matter what model you look at, it's going to be warm before Christmas. As far as the rain goes, GFS says, maybe there's another spotty shower here on Tuesday, with a perhaps more substantial area of rain on Wednesday, the 23rd. That's the GFS. Here's the European model. Has the placement of things a little different, but the idea is kind of the same, where we might get wet at times on Wednesday. By Christmas Eve, this is Thursday, the 24th, the European suggesting it's a pretty calm day, with a mix of sun and clouds, and certainly warm. The GFS has some moisture still around and the threat for some showers. And we really start to notice the difference here as far as the air mass by Christmas Day on the modeling. Here's Friday on the GFS. That's a cold northwest flow, probably no higher than 40 on Christmas Day here on the GFS. Maybe even some snowflakes. Maybe not here, but maybe up in northwest PA, southwest New York. That's the GFS. European has a completely different idea, basically bringing a warm front back across the northern half of Ohio and into parts of Pennsylvania, and you'll see the evidence of that here on the temperatures. Here's a look at the GFS, and I'll stop things on, well, first of all, here's Christmas Eve, the 24th, showing 50s to maybe 60. Here's a look at Christmas Day. The GFS would suggest it's no warmer than about 40 degrees here around northeast Ohio and into western PA. That's the GFS. Look at the European model. I'll skip ahead to Christmas Day. And it shows, just remarkable warmth. It has 64 degrees here on Christmas Day, with a 71 in Columbus, 73 in Cincinnati, shorts weather on Christmas Day on the European. It's one of those situations where I suspect the truth is somewhere in between. In this kind of situation, we rely a lot on what we call ensemble models. Ensemble models take a version of the model and tweak it a bunch of times, tweak the ingredients that go into the model, the temperatures, the pressures, all that good stuff. And it's tweaked a bunch of times and then rerun, and you come up with a kind of a range of solutions based on all those tweaks. Here's a look at the ensemble mean temperatures off the GFS. And you'll notice the ensemble here is not nearly as cold on Christmas Day. It has lower 50s and 60s on Christmas Eve. I think this is much more realistic. I think if I had to, guess at this point as far as the actual temperature on Christmas, it's probably not as warm as the European, not as cold as the operational GFS. It's probably closer to these ensembles, maybe somewhere in the low to mid 50s. Still very warm for Christmas Day, but maybe not quite as warm as the European and not quite as cold as the operational GFS. All right, thanks for sticking with me on this Wednesday evening. We'll have more Weather Geeks Thursday evening with a fresh update on these same subjects. We'll tackle them once again and see what the models are showing. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11, and have yourself a great Wednesday night.